Although it might sound preposterous now, 1987 Fleer baseball cards were once about the hottest items in the hobby. In the late winter and early spring of 1987, when the new cards started hitting the store shelves across the country, we ran into a snag with the usual scheme of things. Since about 1984, Donruss and Fleer had worked to build up a reputation as producing slightly higher quality cards than Topps, mostly owing to the newcomers' use of white cardstock rather than Topps' standard brown-gray. At the same time, as Donruss and Fleer recovered their standings from the first couple of icky years of their existence as baseball card manufacturers, demand for their cards increased, and it seemed, at least, they clamped down on their production. Whereas 1981 Fleer and Donruss were everywhere, the 1986 issues were a little harder to come by. Still, it was all a nuisance early in 1987. By February of 1987, Topps was everywhere as usual. Around here, I was able to find a few pockets of Donruss. But that's where it ended. There was no Fleer to be had anywhere, even though I could read about the fancy new design with cloud fade photos in Sports Collector's Digest every couple of weeks. And something else was odd too. A huge chunk of the country was also experiencing this Fleer shortage, judging by the letters and ads in SCD. And the shortage extended to Donruss in many locales. So I counted myself lucky to be getting acquainted with the black and baseball bordered Donruss set while pining for some Fleer powdered blue. Of course, there was some Fleer product out there, and you could buy it if you were willing to pay 2 or 3 or more times the retail value. It's a ransom I would have surrendered without much problem, but my parents weren't so eager. Instead, I built my mental checklist of Fleer cards I most wanted when I eventually got around to buying a few packs. Naturally, I wanted them all, but there were a few key pasteboards that showed up at card shows and in images accompanying reviews and ads all the time, and that looked like must-haves to me. Barry Bonds, Bo Jackson, Barry Larkin, Pete Rose, Roger Clemens, they all were featured prominently in various print material. If you look up those cards, you'll notice that most of them show the player either posed or in a close-up action shot. Those are the types of photos that seem to work best with the picture frame design that allowed the top edge of each image to extend past its borders. Or at least that's the type of photo that Fleer seemed to prefer. And if there was one guy that was tailor-made for the 1987 Fleer design, it was young San Francisco Giants first baseman Will Clark. Clark was good-looking, had played for the U.S. Olympic baseball team, became a bona fide superstar at Mississippi State, and was regarded as one of the best prospects in the game. His name was a natural fit for baseball, too. Short, masculine, invoked images of the Old West. So it's little wonder that that image of Clark in front of a batting cage in his Giants home white jersey and black batting helmet, hand on hip, and swagger smile painted all over his face fit so well with his 1987 Fleer rookie card. And it's also little wonder that advertisers and reviewers alike picked this card to illustrate their articles. That Will Clark rookie card became the mental image attached with 1987 Fleer for thousands of collectors as we waited our turn for a few wax packs. Now all these years later, with Clark long since retired from a star level but not Hall of Fame level career, and with the truth about Fleer's production levels in 1987 more well understood, well, this is still the card that comes to mind when I think of the set that once was so mythical. That's the way it is with iconic cards, with the best card in a set. They stick with you forever, no matter what. For all those reasons, the Will Clark rookie is the best card from the 1987 Fleer baseball card set. Like our video? Then like our videos and subscribe to our channel. WaxPackGods.com